Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Mindful Monday. 1 minute, it's not Monday, it's Sunday. Yes, absolutely. We've been doing Mindful Mondays now for 7 months and have had a tremendous amount of response and success. And one of the things that we pride ourselves of with the fact that we are imperfect and something that we talk a lot about in our Mindful Mondays. So yes, because of the Yom Tov schedule, we are actually doing it on Sunday. We're still calling it Mindful Mondays. That is our brand. However, it is Sunday. And it is such a joy and so much easier to not try to be perfect. I tried to be perfect for so many years and failed. Oh, I failed so many times trying to get to a place where I was perfect, where I thought I was perfect. And I never believed I could be perfect. Yet I kept trying. And I was basically trying to do the impossible. Because as human beings, we're not supposed to be perfect. We were not created to be perfect. We were created to not be perfect. We were created to be an unperfect human being. As I jokingly state many times, one of my means is I'm a perfect human being. I make perfect mistakes. And it is something that we teach a lot in our programs, something that a lot of people suffer from, different sources of why they suffer from. A lot of it comes from childhood trauma, from other traumas, from misperceptions about life, lack of nurturing, a variety of sources. What gives us this delusional belief that on some level we need to be perfect in order to what? We're not sure in order to what? To be accepted, to be loved, to be a part of. These are some of the beliefs that roam around in our head. But theories spend rivers and rivers of ink talking about this. And I do believe it's just part of the human experience to struggle with this concept. And it's all part of the human experience about life to get to that place of believing that I can be perfect, but I'm not really perfect, and living with that dichotomy, with what we call in psychology that cognitive dissonance, those two opposing voices in our head. And we talk a lot about it in various forms. It affects us in many different aspects of our lives. And one of the greatest things is to become aware of it and to learn how to navigate through it. For those of you who were not here 2 weeks ago, we're going to give a short review because the topic of our discussion this month is getting back on track. This time of year in our calendar, there's a lot going on. We're getting back from the summer. We're back to school. For those of you who have children or those of you who have siblings, maybe you still live at home where your siblings are getting back to school. And then, of course, is the upcoming Yom Tov, the Yom Noraim. There is a lot going on, the Jewish holidays that are coming up next week, starting next week. So there is all this stuff going on. Now we throw into the mix, here's an added stressor. I don't know where all of you are living. We get people from all over the world, but in the Northeast, where I live, in the upstate New York area, it's 80 degrees today. Absolutely gorgeous weather. The clothing that you're buying for your kids, what am I supposed to get now? Am I going to get summer clothes? Winter is coming eventually. Am I supposed to get fall clothes? And it's just an added stressor, something that you don't have any control over. We don't have any control over the weather. And even though, yes, it's absolutely gorgeous, it was just a absolutely exquisite day today. For those of you who are outside, I love the sun. I love the warm weather. I just enjoy it immensely. However, if you're trying to buy clothes for your children for Yom Tov, what type of clothes do you buy? Once again, an added stressor that we spoke about 2 weeks ago. So we have three stressors that are going on at this time of the year in our calendar. Like we said, and we'll repeat that, getting back to school, transformation from, and that transition, I should say, transitioning from summer schedules, summer, and regular day to day. There's a lot of different things that happen. And then on top of that, getting prepared for Yom Tov. And we spoke about last week that it was important for you to determine at that time, 2 weeks ago, which is the most important stressor that you are dealing with. To say that nothing bothers you and nothing affects you, you're just lying to yourself. It is not true. It's not about sweeping stuff under the rug. We need to face life. Life happens. Life changes constantly. And it's very possible that what you wrote down 2 weeks ago may not be true today. Doesn't mean it wasn't true then. The biggest thing about the physical world, something that physical life, I should say, in the physical world, is the only thing constant in the physical world is change. In other words, if you don't know how to deal with change, you're going to have a difficult life because change happens constantly. It never stops. Change is every single second. If you want to remember about change, you can either look at your watch, if you have an analog watch, and watch the second hand moving. It never goes backwards. You can think about your eyes blinking, moisturizing your eye, or you can think about breathing, that you're inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. Constant change, constant motion. Life is about motion. You cannot stop life. The only way to stop life is permanently. You can't say, okay, world, hold on for a second. I just want to get off for a minute. I want to check out for 5 minutes. Can you just wait? No, life does not wait. Life does not stop. So if you have a hard time with change, with transitioning, life is going to be very difficult for you. The job of our parents in our childhood is to teach us this, to nurture us this way. And if you were like me, who did not get nurtured this way, then that onus is on you. The beautiful thing about life, I actually was going to say this at the end, but I can say it now too, is it is similar to a computer, similar for a phone. You ever had a phone and all of a sudden it freezes and it stops working? Or the computer freezes, the screen freezes, and you're like banging the keys and it's not responding. So what do? You call the technician and he says, unplug it, or press Control Alt Delete, right? Reset the computer. Life is so beautiful that you can reset life 24/7. That is right. You could wake up and have a bad moment. Does not mean that you're going to have a bad day. You can have a bad day, does not mean you're going to have a bad week. You can reset every single moment of the day. That is one of the amazing things, the positive part of that. The only constant in life is change. That means that what happened a minute ago is not necessarily mean that's going to happen for the rest of your life. And a lot of people believe that my experience is like this, so it's definitely going to be like that all the time. That is just untrue. That is not accurate. You can reset yourself 24/7. How to get to that, we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to get a little review, a short review of what we spoke about 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about the different types of fears, that there were 3 levels of fears. And the number one way in order to grow and heal with anything is with clarity. You have to be clear about stuff. If you are off with your clarity, if you have misperceptions, whatever the stories you've been told or the stories that you tell yourself, and you live by those stories, the good ones obviously are the ones you want to keep. But the stories that are preventing you from progressing, from healing, from growing, from maturing, those are obviously stories that you want to change. You want to change your story, because whatever your story is what you believe. And whatever you believe is what is going to fuel and is going to push you through life. So clarity is the way to uncover what it is that you've been taught, what it is that you've been told, what it is that you told yourself, and what it is that is driving you to behave in a certain way. It may be, it was true 10 years ago. Maybe it was true 20 years ago. Does not mean that it's necessarily true today. Yes, there are things that are true for life, our core beliefs, absolutely. But we're not talking about those things. We're talking about the distorted beliefs, the distorted perceptions that we got from some type of experience or somebody told us, and we were not nurtured properly, we're not mature enough, and those things are driving us. And then we don't understand, why am I behaving this way? Why am I having such a hard go at life? So the clarity is number one. And there's three different types of fears. Because anytime a person is anxious, because we're talking about this time of year, when there are stressors, they're talking about that there is a fear. Fear is not something that you can sweep under the rug. Fear is a natural, not just a natural, but it is a necessary emotion that us human beings were created with. We were created with fear intentionally, because if you're not afraid of danger, you're going to get hurt, or God forbid, worse. When you're trying to cross the street, if you're not afraid of getting hit by a car, you're not going to be careful when you cross the street. Little children don't understand the fear. They don't understand, I should say, the danger. And that's why they can run out into the street. They don't understand. They don't understand the danger of playing with sharp knives. They don't understand what that can do to a person who doesn't know how to handle it properly. So there are three types of fears. Level one of fear, this is the fear about things that happen to us. Like we said, the time of year, it's the calendar. The warm weather today, for some people it was great. For some people, now what do I do about buying my kids these clothes? These are things that happen, or things that require action, that I have to make a decision. I got to do something. Should I stay in a relationship? Should I leave the relationship? Should I stay in this home? Should I look for a new home? Etc. We have decisions that we make throughout our life. That's level one fear. Level two fear is your judgment of yourself. I used to believe that this is the most fundamental fear that really affects us in all aspects of our life. But the truth is, that is not the source. That is not the key that affects us in all aspects of our life. It does affect us a lot. If you have a belief that you judge yourself harshly, oh my gosh, I made a mistake, I'm a horrible person. You think that I'm not good enough. I'm not a good mother. I'm not a good father. I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good child. If you start to believe in this harsh judgment of yourself, and you think that's the source of your fear, I want you to know that that is just level two fear. It is something that really affects almost all human beings, which is understandable. Because if you really understand what it means to be a human, humans were created to live amongst other humans. Otherwise, Adam would have been the only human alive. Eve was created because Adam could not live on his own. We are meant to cohabitate. We are meant to live with other human beings. Right now, there's over 8.2 billion of us on this planet. That is what's supposed to be. How do we get along with 8.2 billion people? You don't have to, don't worry, you don't have to get along with every single human being on this planet. But we do have to coexist. We do have to live with other people. We cannot isolate or run away from all the people that are in the world. That's just not humanly possible. You want to become an astronaut and take a flight to Mars and live there? It's just not realistic. We do have to come on to other people all the time. So your judgment of yourself is a very important fear. And it's something that people spend a lifetime, myself included, the last 24 years in recovery. I spent the last 24 years working on my accurate judgment of myself. and should I say, not just accurate, but gentle judgment of myself. I judged myself very harshly for a long time. And I believe that caused me to be the 312 pounds that I was 21 years ago. I've kept that weight off for 21 years, which is a blessing. But this is the work that I needed to do, not just to lose the weight, but in order to keep it off. So a lot of what I speak about in these Mindful Mondays and in our programs is not just information that I studied in school, even though I did. It's not just that I've worked in psychiatry for 15 years, even though I have. It's more about my personal experience, what I had to do, and what I recognized that I needed in order for me to be who I am today. And this is what I'm presenting to you. This is what I'm constantly presenting to you, both in our programs and in the Mindful Mondays. Level 3 fear, so that judgment of self. It is level 2 fear. It is not the biggest fear. The biggest fear that we have, especially for people who have gone through some type of trauma, and there's different types of trauma. People misperceive the concept of trauma. If you lost a job, that's traumatic. If you were trying to get a job and you didn't get the job, that's traumatic. Let's say you're looking to buy a house and you really like the house, and then somebody came and they outbid you and they got it before you. That's traumatic. These are things that need to be grieved. These are experiences that happen in life that if you don't, like we said, if you do not know how to live with change, you're going to have a very rough time with anything that changes. And change is constant. It is the only thing that is consistent in a physical human being's life is change. We're constantly growing. Every second, we're getting 1 second older, and we're getting 1 second closer to the end of our life. Every single moment. You cannot stop that. So if you don't know how to live with change, you're going to have a rough time. One of the things that we teach, and we're going to be teaching here tonight, level 3 fear, and here's where the real fear is. See, when you go through an experience, if it's a negative experience, it's a scary experience, what happens is that your brain, we talked about computers before, your brain is the best hard drive that it is. You can't wipe out your hard drive. That hard drive is there all the time, from the moment you are born. Whether you recognize something or not, whether you are consciously aware of something. That's why some people, a certain noise can trigger something in them. What? They don't realize that 40 years earlier, they heard this noise while they were watching or experiencing a traumatic event. And when they hear that noise, it connects to that, even though they don't have any conscious memory of it happening. It doesn't matter. The subconscious is like a sponge. It absorbs everything that we see, that we hear, that we feel, that we taste, excuse me, everything with our 5 senses, every single thing. We remember in our subconscious. It is impossible to erase it. What is possible, and again, something that we teach in our recovery, is to transform, reframe the effect that experience, that noise, that smell, that taste, that sound, what we saw affected us. You, as a human being, have the power to reframe it. And once you reframe it, it doesn't mean that the memory is not there. What happens is you create new neural pathways in your brain that it doesn't say, okay, this noise means fear. This noise means tragedy. This smell means something horrible. We can transform it into something either neutral or something positive. That's something that we have the power to do. Again, this is what we teach in our programs. We retrain the subconscious, but you cannot wipe it out completely. You can't sweep it under the rug. It will come back and affect you. And then all of a sudden you're in a situation, you're talking to somebody and you overreact and you say, what? That's really out of character. Why did I do that? And you don't realize that was an emotion that you experienced 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that you never really worked through it. And therefore, you're being affected today. The third fear, what we're talking about, is that we're afraid that we're going to experience that negative emotion that we had a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or maybe with epigenetics, it was something that was passed down through the DNA. It was passed down through the generations. Transgenerational trauma gets passed down. There's a story about a young girl who was going through horrible difficulty whenever her mother would bake something, and she would just be not out of herself. And till they finally figured out that it was her grandmother who had died in the Holocaust in the ovens, that she was being affected. She never met her grandmother, but she was affected because of transgenerational trauma. It gets passed down. These are studies. And once she was aware of it and brought it to her conscious, she was able to work through it so that the oven being turned on did not make her extremely scared, fearful, anxious, and so on. So we absorb everything, but we're afraid of that emotion. We're afraid of experiencing that emotion. But that's not the real fear. The real fear is that we believe, or we're afraid, that we're not going to be able to handle that emotion. And it's a very powerful message. I know we spoke about it 2 weeks ago, and I want to expound on it. See, the problem with fear is, the misperception about fear is that fear in of itself is really not a problem. If everybody feels fear when it's approaching something totally new in life, and wow, there's going to be something new, I'm going to experience a fear, and we don't look at it from a negative perspective, we can start approaching fear from a completely different angle. It's obvious that the real issue has nothing to do with fear itself. Why is that? Why is that obvious? Ask yourself, however old you are, I believe everybody here is over 18 years old. So you've all lived at least 18 years, some are 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Have you ever been afraid of a certain situation? Have you ever gone through an experience that you're afraid of? Did you get through the experience? Obviously, you're here, right? So you got through it, even though you were afraid. In other words, even though you went through it with fear, you still got through it. In other words, fear is not your problem. Fear is not what prevents us and blocks us from moving forward. We think it is. Fear is about what? It's our perception of what fear is. And that's something that we want to talk about tonight. So we said that the number one key for healing is what? Is clarity. This is part of the clarity. Recognizing what exactly is causing us that anxiety. Like we spoke about 2 weeks ago. What is your priority situation now, your experience now that you're stressed about? Back to school, transition from summer, Erev Yontif. What is your priority? And again, what was the priority 2 weeks ago does not mean the priority is today. And that's really important. I can't stress enough how important that concept is. Because what was true for you 2 weeks ago does not mean that is true for you today, and does not mean that it wasn't true 2 weeks ago, and doesn't mean what is true for you today is not true. We constantly change. But fear in of itself is not the problem. So I wrote down a few truths and myths, in other words, delusions, things that are just stuff that we heard that are just untrue. Mark Twain says, it's not what you do not know that gets you into the most trouble. It's what you know for certain that just isn't. And here's a perfect example. So we're going to talk about the truths and the myths about fear. When I'm afraid, that means there's something wrong with me. If I'm afraid, there's something wrong with me. That's not true. That's a myth. We already said that we were created, God created us with fear. It's an absolutely important emotion that we must have to survive. We must have fear. You cannot eradicate fear out of your life. Myth number two, when I am afraid, I need to retreat. I need to back away because I'm afraid. Also, who said? Not true. When you're in danger, you need to be careful, right? If you're running and then you're on the side of a cliff, yes, you need to stop running so you don't fall off the cliff. But when you're in fear, you're not at the side of a cliff, you're in fear. And you think you need to retreat. That's a lie. When I'm in fear, I need to do something. Also, that is a myth. That is just not true. Your own experiences, if you're honest with yourself and you look back, you will look back at your experiences and you will notice how many times it happened to you in your life when you were afraid of something and you didn't do anything and the fear disappeared. Remarkable. When I'm in fear, obviously I need to try something else because this thing is bringing me fear. I better try something else. Also a myth. Who said because there is fear that you need to retreat, there's something wrong with you, you're doing something wrong? No. The only people of courage, people who have courage, the people who have courage, and we've have many, many stories in our vast riches of history, of all those Yidden, all those stories that come out about the courage of these great people in times of despair, in times when everything seemed to be lost, and they got courage. So you're going to tell me that they weren't afraid? Of course they were afraid. They had tremendous fear. But it didn't stop them from moving forward. That's the point. People of courage are the most fearful of everybody. They're not less afraid from the people who retreat. Absolutely not. They just understand fear that you and I don't understand. If I'm afraid, I need to ignore or to squash that fear. Also not true. Who says that you have to? I can only do stuff if I'm not afraid. Where do these ideals come from? And these are the voices, these are the beliefs, these are the perceptions that drive our life, that drive us crazy. And I speak from personal experience. That a struggle, from having a struggle with life, from trying to accomplish something and it's not going the way I want, then that's a punishment. That's the universe, that is God trying to punish me. Wow, did I believe that for the longest time. I believe that when I made a mistake, first of all, I believed I was a mistake, not just that I made a mistake. And I believe that God in the universe was out to get me, was out to punish me, because my self-judgment was so poor that I thought the worst of myself. I thought I was such a horrible person. I thought that I was such a failure. 312 pounds, taking 9 anti-diabetic medications. I was the worst person on the planet. I really believe that to my core. So I believed anytime I had a struggle or anytime something didn't work out the way I wanted to, that was an absolute punishment. God is punishing me. Yeah. I started speaking for God. Like I knew what he was thinking. Delusion. I had no idea. Avoiding the fear, and here's the last one that I wrote. Avoiding the fear is less frightening than facing it. Wow. I'm assuming there are some people here who can relate to that, right? If I avoid the fear, that'll be easier. That'll be less difficult than actually facing the fear. People of courage, wow, those are really the strong people in society. Those are the amazing people. The truth is that to live with courage is so much easier than constantly fighting the fear and avoiding it. Those are myths. Those are things that are just not true, that we live with daily on a constant basis. And what does it do for us? Is that working out for you? Absolutely not. It's blocking me. We don't even know to what extent it's harming us. And it's not just harming us, these myths. It's harming our relationships. It's harming our family life. It's harming our children because we are instilling that fear on our children. And now they have those beliefs in themselves. They start believing that they are not really human, that they're not supposed to have a fear, that there's something wrong with them, that having fear is a bad thing. It is wrong. There is something wrong with you if you're afraid. Oh, I believed that for the longest time. What are the truths? We already mentioned this one. It is normal to be afraid. It is absolutely normal to be afraid. It is part of the human experience to be afraid. We were born, we were created with fear. What does an infant do the first minute it comes out of its mother's womb? Starts to cry. It's uncomfortable. It's afraid. It was all nice and warm. It had everything taken care of for it. And now it comes out, it has to breathe on its own. It's cold. It's naked. Like it doesn't feel comfortable at all. I'm very uncomfortable. They start to cry. They're in fear. Who's going to take care of me now? Who's going to nurture me? Who's going to feed me? Where am I going to get my sustenance from? I got it while I was in my mother's womb. Now I'm out into this world. Where am I going to get all the sustenance? We're born with immediate fear because we went through trauma. What was the trauma? The birth. The birth is traumatic, whether the child is born from a C-section or has a natural birth. Yes, it's traumatic for the mother, but the mother's an adult. But the infant, we start off our life with trauma. The first thing that happens to us, our first connection to this world, to this universe, is trauma. We were created through trauma. We start our life with fear. It is normal to be afraid. Whenever you try something new, you're going to be afraid, right? You ever get a new job and you come in there and you don't feel so comfortable and you don't want to do anything wrong, obviously. You want to, right? You want to find favor in your boss's eyes. You want to get along with your coworkers. You're trying to navigate the area and acclimate yourself to the environment. Is it scary? It should be. It's something new. You should be scared. When you first got married, was it scary? Absolutely. All of a sudden, you're sharing a home with a stranger that you barely know, and now you're living together. And is this person going to like me? Am I going to like this person? What does this person want? We don't understand the patterns. We don't understand the behaviors. We don't understand the likes. It takes a little while. It's like the first year. It takes a little while until you get to know that person that you just got married to. When you have a child the first time, I got to change the diaper. Is it scary? It should be scary. It's the first time. Do I bathe the child? If I'm nursing the child, did I give it enough to eat? Did it get everything? Is it okay? Do I put it on a schedule? All these things. Oh, my first child, first day at school, right? Back to school. How do I say goodbye to my child? My child is crying. What do I do? Are they going to be scared? Are they going to be okay? Separation anxiety? How do I feel? Anytime you're trying something important and new, You should be scared. If you're not, there's something wrong with you. Fear is a normal part. Now, there are two different types of fears. There is the natural fear, which we are talking about, and then there's the self-imposed fear. The self-imposed fear is not natural fear. That is stuff that we place upon ourselves, like we saw last time, that harsh judgment of ourselves. When we forget that we're human and we judge ourselves harshly and we get all anxious, or we're worried about the future, which we have zero control over the future. So if we're afraid of the future, excuse me, that is self-imposed fear. Fear is not about the future. Fear is right now. I'm feeling uncomfortable now. I'm feeling scared right now because I'm in this new job and I don't know how to do everything. I'm bathing my child for the first time. I don't know how to do it properly. I'm taking on a new course. I don't know if I'm going to be successful. Of course, you're going to be afraid. It is natural to be afraid. When you start adding all the added fears that came from all those myths that, oh, if I'm afraid there's something wrong with me. If there's something wrong with me, what do I do with this fear? Oh my gosh, I'm afraid that I have fear, right? A double fear. I'm afraid that I have fear. I'm afraid I won't be able to handle this fear that I'm in now. I'm afraid this fear is never going to go away. I'm afraid I'm never going to be able to handle the fear. All this convoluted conversation in our head, that's all self-imposed. That's the difference between a natural fear. And then the last one, if you are in a place where it's either or, in other words, I either do this or I do that. So I'm afraid because I'm in this dilemma. That is also an unnatural fear, because the truth is, it can be both. I can have this and I can be that. I can be successful and I can be afraid at the same time. I can be happy and I can be afraid. Same thing. I can do it all. And the proof is that you've done it. You are here. All of you have lived through stressful situations in your life. You're going through one right now, a week before Rosh Hashanah. Whatever your level of spirituality is, whatever it is, you are going through stressful time right now. To deny it would be just to lie to yourself. Sweep it under the rug? Yes, it's there. Doesn't mean that you have to have the self-imposed fear. But once again, especially if you have a family, it is a stressful time. It's supposed to be a stressful time. There's a lot going on. This is a very important part of the Jewish calendar. This is something that's very important for us. You're supposed to be stressed. Absolutely. And if you're not, once again, there's something wrong with you. Can you be calm? Yes. You see, the calm is getting rid of the self-imposed fear. The natural fear is not going to bring you to anxiety. That's the point. So how do you make that transition from recognizing the difference? Obviously, we're just talking about this. And it's very nice and very powerful and good stuff. I think so anyways. And thinking that just by one conversation, you're cured, you're healed. Okay, I got this. No. You can't do this work on your own. You cannot. The Russians have a saying, you cannot kiss your own ear. If you want your ear to be kissed, you need to ask somebody else to kiss that ear for you. You can't kiss your own ear. Us as humans, we cannot get ourselves out of this stuff. We can tell ourselves from today till the cows come home that we'll get over it. And we don't see that we have, because it is a very specific process that one needs to go through in order to heal. It is something that we teach in our programs. It is something that we've had a major success in our programs. We have a weight loss program where I know that there's Ozempic and there's a lot of medications that curb your appetite, and they're fantastic. I'm all for it. Back when I was losing weight, there was bariatric surgery, which I chose not to go through. Actually, it wasn't available while I was losing my weight. 21 years ago, I'm not sure if it was that available. I just lost weight the natural way of going on a diet, but keeping it off and learning how to do that, none of those medications or the bariatric surgery work for that. See, there's no shortcut to this. To get the long-term effect, this is something where you need somebody else to kiss your ear for you. You need support and help and guidance in order to make that happen. That's what our program does. We retrain the subconscious, but we guide you to it because you can't do this on your own. You just cannot. I didn't do it on my own. We were not created to do this stuff on our own. So you can't do this stuff on your own. So how do we make that transformation from that natural fear to the self-imposed fear? We started to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm not going to go on too long because there's a lot of information here. I agree. A lot of information, and comes from a lot of years of experience and hard work. 30 years of multiple failures. That was great learning. I didn't like that part of the learning. And then 20 years of success, over 20 years of success. That part I enjoyed a little bit more than the hardships of what they call the lessons of hard knocks. Get knocked on your head a few times, get banged into the wall, not being able to succeed and trying to learn from your mistakes. Yeah, that's not fun. Not always easy. However, you all did it. You're all here. So how do we transform? And what we have to do is you got to move yourself out of the pain of fear to the power of fear. Understand that fear is a very powerful emotion. The two greatest emotions that we have is love and fear. People think that hate is the opposite of love. It's actually not true. Hate and love are very close together. You only hate somebody that you love. The opposite of love is avoidance, fear, staying away. That's the opposite of love. Both very strong emotions. And thinking that avoiding fear, like we said before, is is easier than facing your fear, you're very mistaken. So I'm going to give you one little exercise for yourselves to do. And I want you to know that each and every one of you has an innate ability, like I said at the beginning, to reset your computer 24/7. You absolutely do. You've all done it multiple times without even realizing it. We do it every single morning when we wake up. It's a new day. Whatever happened yesterday, it's gone forever. It's never coming back. So we reset our computer literally every single day, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. Somebody says something to you, you have a choice. You can react to what they're saying, or you can say, what I love this saying. I came up with this once while I was swimming. Idiot. That's right. You all know what an idiot is, right? Idiot. I did it once too. Whatever this person said to me that I didn't like, I am certain that I have done a similar thing to somebody else in the past. Did the universe forgive me? They did. I'm still here. They didn't kill me. I can give them a pass today. Idiot. Thank you for your heart, Em. I did it once too. Yes. You can reframe everything in your life. We can reframe fear. We can take fear and look at it with all these myths. Is there something wrong with me? That I need to retreat? I need to change something? Or I can say, wow, that's power. That means if I'm afraid, that means that I'm about to confront something very good and very powerful in my life. Wow, I'm afraid, I'm alive, I'm feeling emotion. So I want you to write down 3 things, and you can put it on your refrigerator, you can put it next to your bed, you can type it onto your phone, wherever you post it, that's going to work for you. You ready? 3 words. You all ready? I am powerful. Repeat. I am powerful. Yes, you are. You're absolutely powerful. You made it to today. That's amazing. You have power in your subconscious beyond your wildest expectation. Excuse me, I got a little tongue twisted. Above and beyond your wildest expectations. I am powerful. Yes, you are. I am bigger than my problems. I know you're bigger than your problems because you're here. If you were not bigger than your problems, would have destroyed you. But they haven't. You are here. You are bigger than your problems. Does not mean to say that you're not going to have problems. Does not mean to say that you're not going to have challenges. Does not mean that you're not going to have to muster up courage. But you are more powerful than your problems. How do I know that? Because you can reset 24/7. Imagine the power of a human being to be able to do that. Can animals do that? They're a lower level of species. They don't even get involved in all this stuff. They don't go to therapy. No, animals don't need therapy. They don't question all this stuff. They were not given the intelligence that humans were given. We're the highest of all the species. So we have more intelligence. Sometimes it works for our benefit, and sometimes it can work against our benefit where we start that self-imposed fear. We start second guessing and judging ourselves harshly. These smaller animals don't ask, why are they smaller animals? The turtle doesn't say, why was I created a turtle? The goat doesn't say, why is the eagle trying to capture me and kill me? They don't ask these questions. The worm doesn't ask, why do the birds eat me? It does not. It does not. And the bird doesn't ask, how come I can fly and I can't swim? And the fish doesn't ask, how come I can swim, but I cannot fly? No, they don't ask these questions. They know who they are. They know their identity. They know what they're capable of doing, and they know what they're incapable of doing, and they know what they need to do in order to survive. Us humans, we have this phenomenal thing called intelligence. Now we have artificial intelligence, right? That is quicker than our mind. Not better, just quicker. Does the artificial intelligence have emotions? Absolutely not. They're trying to get to it, and who knows where that's going to get to. However, you cannot replace the human experience. Nothing can replace the human experience. So you are bigger than your problems. And last, one of the biggest mistakes, and I'm going to end with this, that we have this belief that in order for me to be happy, in order for me not to be afraid, I need to change somebody else. I need to change my situation. I need to change something external in order for me to feel calm, in order to be happy. And that is just not true. You don't need to change anything. You just need to change your perception. But you can't change your perception until you learn what that perception is. And therefore, number 3, say that to yourself. I am the source of my happiness. Abraham Lincoln said that every human being is as happy as they choose to be. Another human being cannot make me happy. I don't need anything to change my life for me to be happy. There are some very wealthy, successful people who are absolutely miserable. And there are some very middle of the road people who are extremely happy. One of the happiest people that I remember was I was working in this hospital, And this lady came in the morning, and she worked in the laundry room. So I can't imagine she had a very high-paying job. Middle-aged woman, I'm assuming she had a family, children, and she used to come every morning and bring that big wheeling cart of all the linen for the day for the unit. And she would bring it in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, she would come in. She would glow with happiness. She wasn't a nurse. She wasn't a doctor. She wasn't a director. She wasn't a manager. She wasn't the owner of the hospital. No, she was just a simple employee with a very low level job, not paying very much, low skilled job. And I remember I approached her once and I said, wow, you're such an inspiration every time I see you. You have such happiness on your face. And I don't remember what she responded to me. I wish I did, but it was like just very humble. She acknowledged it, but she was just so humble and so happy. Amazing. You don't need to do anything to become happy. You are the source of your happiness. Because we want to help, that's what we do. That's what our programs do. We want to help people with our programs. And I was speaking to the team this week, and I said, it's 2 weeks, week before Yontif, people need help. People are stressed. That's what we do. To make a nice special offer, you join our program if you sign up before Yontif, we're giving a discount. We're giving $100 off on our program. Our weight loss program is a 6-week program, normally $697. We're going to give $100 off for $597. Anxiety and trauma healing program is we're also going to give $200 off on that program, an 8-week program. And you're going to get an extension of a week. So if you sign up now and you say, you know what, Yontif is too stressful, I can't start now, not a problem. You sign up and you say, I want to start after someone started, not a problem. We do this every year and we get a great response. Take advantage. This is a once-a-year time when we do this. We only do this at this time of year. So we're offering a great discount. Jump on board. If you're interested in finding out about the program, you can text the same way where you texted mindful, just text the word to 845 as Marilyn is going to place in the chat. I see there's a lot of people calling online. So how to get in touch with us, or you can just text us 845-400-9466. And again, 845-400-9466. We're going to open up for Q&A in a couple of minutes. And I want you to know that anybody who we, Baruch Hashem, have a 95% success rate in what we do. And we're giving, and then as Marilyn put on, if you want to hear the replay, we have this is all recorded. So you can hear the recording again. That is, if you join the program, you will have that accessible to you as long as you're in your program. Otherwise, it just stays up there for about a week or two. You will also be getting your newsletters that will come to you automatically, and the added benefits of being part of this incredible environment. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that I was blessed 21 years ago. I was blessed 24 years ago when I walked into a crisis center. I didn't feel blessed at the time. I was suicidal. I was over 300 pounds. My wife had kicked me out of the house. And it was a very low time in my life. I was very distressed. I wasn't in fear. I didn't even know what fear was, but I was totally lost. And I didn't know how to move forward. And I found recovery then. And at the time, I thought it was the worst day of my life. I thought it was the worst thing that happened to me. 24 years later, this October, It's October 2001, a month after September 11th. I remember 24 years later, next month, turns out it was the absolute best thing that happened in my life. That I, a broken man, kicked out of his house, trying to raise a family, totally lost, just lost my job, was able to assist other people. The power, that innate power that we are created with to turn ourselves around and reset our subconscious. Doesn't happen in a minute. I wanted it to. I still want it to. But the journey that has transformed, and the only reason I'm here is not so much about the recovery that I was able to turn my life around, but it was more about the 30 years of failure, because I learned more in that 30 years of failure than I have in the 24 years of success. The 24 years of success is only on top of the foundation of the failure. So what you think is not going well for you in life, what you think is a mistake, what you think is horrible in your life, I'm here to tell you, you are powerful. Absolutely. You are bigger than your problems. And you, yes, you, each and every one of you, are the source of your happiness. You absolutely are. I want to thank you for listening to me. We will not be having another Mindful Mondays until probably till after Yontif, but you will be getting the newsletter, and you'll get the summary of this, and it'll be the recording. And I really hope and pray that some of you take advantage of this great discount that we're having now, and come and join that community that we have of the Ascent and the KTPO, what we do, teaching people how to keep their weight off, teaching people how to deal with their stressful emotions, their anxiety, their traumas, their social anxieties, their phobias, their insomnias, all of these things we have healed. Absolutely. Incredible. It is a process, but we have discovered the solution and we teach it. So thank you so much. We're going to open up now for Q&A. I would prefer that you do unmute for that. 04, you unmuted. You have a question? I cannot hear you. I see you're unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Hello? Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. I feel it's very powerful, the mist, and it's very on target for me.
Beautiful. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Okay. Somebody just texted, can I repeat the third point? So the third point is that you are the source of your happiness. You're welcome. Anybody else? Once you speak, if you could mute yourself again, thank you. Anybody else have a question or a comment? Your first letter is L and you have a B as your last name. Yes, I see you unmuted. How can I help you?
It's you?
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah. My question is that I can't imagine doing something that I don't want to do. My senses don't want to do something new.
I don't believe you.
It's like an aversion. I have certain aversions and certain.
I don't believe you. You're lying. You're not a liar. I love your honesty. And may I prove to you why I don't believe you?
Please.
Okay. So You sound like you have a family, you're married, you have children?
Yes, yes. But the
Okay.
problem is, right, but the
One
problem
minute,
is,
one minute, one minute. One of the words that we don't allow is but. Okay? You're not allowed to use the word but.
okay.
There's a reason why. I'm not trying to be cruel. So, answer me true or false. Everything that so your children are older now, or you still have babies, or you
No, no
had
babies. No
no babies.
babies.
Okay, but you did have them, right? They were
Yeah,
babies. They started out as babies, right?
Baruch Hashem, yes.
Okay. And they got up in the middle of the night for feeding, or if they had a temperature when they were teething, right?
Correct.
And did you like breaking up your
And
night's sleep?
no,
You did not, right?
no,
And I'm assuming after you have more than one child, yes?
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. So when your second child was waking up and your first child needed to get ready for school 2 hours later, did any of that stop you from getting up in the middle of the night to nurse, to change a diaper, to take care of a child, and then get the other child to school?
But I wasn't happy.
1 minute. I didn't say that. Did you do it?
Did it? Yes.
Now, you just said that you can't imagine, but you've already done new things that you didn't like. True? Multiple times.
I hear.
So
I hear.
when you tell yourself that you can't imagine, you're lying to yourself because you've already done it so many times, more than you'd probably like to admit to, correct? And
Yeah.
I am certain that there are many other aspects that you maybe are unconsciously aware of, or maybe because you have somebody close to you, you don't want to admit to. Am I correct? You're muted. I can't hear you.
Maybe. Wait.
Maybe.
I'm confused.
Beautiful. Do you know why confusion is a good thing?
No. No.
Doesn't it force you to seek out more and to research and to investigate so you can understand something?
Yes. Yes.
So in of itself, we think that confusion is a bad thing. There's something wrong with us. We're not intelligent enough. The truth is confusion is a blessing because all that means is that you're trying to understand something a little bit deeper. True?
Still doesn't feel like that much of a blessing, but
1 second. You just brought in a different word. What did you say? It doesn't?
feel like.
Exactly. And that's a misperception. We have this misperception. That's one of the things that I said tonight. I'm not sure if you were here when I said it, that if I'm afraid there's something wrong with me, did that like awaken something in you? Could you relate to that?
No, I think I feel entitled to that fear. I think I don't think there's something wrong. I think so. And with
Well,
something that yeah,
you just said that you can't imagine doing something new.
doing something that I'm currently averse to it.
Correct. So you're allowing your fears to prevent you from doing something that may be beneficial for you in the long run. Sure.
It doesn't strike me as fear of being not perfect, fear of, if, I don't think of it as a fear.
Then what do you think of it as? If you're avoiding it, like you said, yes, we only avoid things that we're afraid of.
Okay, but what if there's a physical thing, such as I'm afraid that it will make me sick?
That's something else. If something I'm not going to eat something because I think it's going to make me sick. That's not a fear. That's health. That's a healthy fear.
No, not necessarily. If I'm afraid that,
Do you want to be a little bit more specific? You don't have to
yeah,
say everything.
yeah, I'll give an example.
Okay.
If I'm afraid that I'm going to get sick from eating vegetable salad because my body just can't tolerate vegetables. I hate
Okay.
vegetables. It's not, I won't
Okay.
be able to get it. But it's not, I'm not afraid that I don't think of myself as not perfect. I think of myself as having this do I want to say preference taste? That's my taste. My taste is to only eat carbohydrates and protein and to avoid any fruits and vegetables. It's like a going out on a date and saying, I just didn't like his personality. I just don't
So
like I just don't
being
like the taste
afraid.
of.
So there are people that tell themselves that they're afraid to eat certain healthy foods. But in truth is, that's a self-imposed fear. It's not always realistic. Now, somebody has a certain health issue where they can't eat certain vegetables, it's understandable. If somebody's lactose intolerant, they're not going to eat dairy because they're going to get sick from it. If somebody has an allergic reaction to certain foods, then of course they're not going to eat those foods because they have an allergic reaction. However, if somebody tells themselves that I'm not going to eat vegetables or fruit and vegetables because I'm afraid it's going to make me sick, even though they've never tried it, that's a self-imposed fear. So
Yes,
that's something that needs to be investigated and researched and worked through. Find out the source of what that fear is. So if there's a source to it, once we uncover, that's something that we do in our program. There are people who come to us with similar fears. I can't follow a diet. Can't follow a diet.
because I can't give up certain things and I can't tolerate and I can't bear to
So anytime you
start
say that
things.
so anytime I hear you, and I
Good.
want you to know I validate your feelings because they are real for you right now. But I want you to know that is not who you are. You understand the difference?
I think so. I think so.
That
It's
that is what we can change. And you being afraid to that you can't give up certain foods, who says that in order to get to whatever your goal is, that you have to give that up? That's self-imposed. So you've created this fear and this belief, I can't. Anytime a person says they can, it's true. Anytime a person says I can't, it's true. I can or I can't is what is driving your life. However, if you're talking about it, it's because it's bothering you. True?
yes. Yes,
So you
because
would
of
like to get
right.
past it, but this fear is blocking you from getting to where you really want.
The fear and the sense of entitlement that I'm entitled to be my own person.
Nobody's stopping you from being your own person. But you have I hear a lot of distorted beliefs in you that you may or may not be aware of. And it's hard to take this on and get to the source just in the Q&A. But I promise you that there are some very strong beliefs that are probably not your fault, that have been driving your life for a long time and probably have made life rough in certain areas of your life. And you've just created beliefs upon beliefs and really blocking yourself from living a happy life that you deserve in many areas of your life. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yes. Yes, not only about, not be, only be, because of food, other things in my
No,
life.
I understand.
That's right. Other fears, other, yeah, other
Would you like
anxieties.
would you like healing in that?
I think so.
Okay. Do you want to, you don't have to do it in the open form. I see you're calling from the computer. Do you want to text in your contact information? And we can have somebody from the office get in touch with you tomorrow and discuss it? Would that be okay?
Okay.
No obligation? You want to put it into the chat? Or do you want to text it to our number at 845-400-9466, which is easier for you?
The text.
Okay,
Wait, so again, it's 845 940.
no,
Right.
400.
Good.
845-400-400-9466.
Yes. Okay.
And just put in your name and your phone number and the best time to call you. Give us a couple of hours window, and somebody will get in touch with you and discuss about what we do, and then we can go deeper about what you're struggling with, because it sounds to me that you're really suffering in many aspects of your life. Oh, I just need her name. This Marilyn is telling me. Yeah, I know. She doesn't have, okay, go ahead. Yes, just text that in. Your name
No,
and your phone number. Did you do it? No, I didn't see it.
I didn't do it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Second. 1 second. Yeah.
Oh, somebody else texted and they also want to call.
That's good.
Yeah. Just let you know if it got through. Okay, there we go. Okay. Thank you. Starts with 917, right?
Yes.
Okay. We will call you tomorrow. Any better time?
Let someone call me and then we'll talk about it then.
No, I'm saying any better time to call you.
No, I can't. I don't know I don't know my
problem.
schedule for
All
tomorrow.
right, no problem. We'll call you. We'll reach out to you. And I understand what I really want you to know that I validate your feelings and I understand them. I've been there. And every single person who comes into our program has similar emotions that you're going through. Touch with you tomorrow and we'll take it from there. And thank you so much for showing up. And thank you for unmuting and asking a question. It takes a lot of courage. So I thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Hatzlacha. Okay. Anybody else have a question or a comment?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, you can hear me?
It's a little distorted.
Okay, just a second. Hello?
Much better.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm experiencing is that
You got to speak a little bit louder, though, please.
okay, so what I'm experiencing is that consistently each morning I wake up with a jolt of anxiety. That's how I wake up, like a sweat. And
Okay.
it takes me a while. It takes me a while to coordinate myself. And it's a very scary feeling. It's a very scary experience.
And how long has this been going on for?
For many years. Like each morning,
Okay.
the same pattern, the same thing happens.
Okay. And how about what time do you go to sleep at night?
Yes, I go
I'm
to sleep
sorry?
on time, like 10-ish. I go to sleep on time,
Okay.
10-ish.
Okay. And before you go to sleep, do you review your day?
What do you mean by review?
Go over what you did well, what didn't go well for you, how grateful you are for your day, anything like that?
Most of the time. Most of the
I'm
time,
sorry?
and then I unwind. I say most of the time, most of the time I review my day, or I unwind, or well, I would say so.
So you go over your day, and before you go to sleep, you say, wow, thank you for giving me another day of life. See, we wake up in the morning on how we go to sleep the night before. And if we go to sleep the night before with unsolved, what I call loose ends, then it is common that we're going to wake up with fear and anxiety. You're not talking about fear, you're talking about anxiety. And that fear or anxiety, there is a source of it. There's something in our lives that we are just not happy with and we have not accepted as part of our life. And therefore, when we go to sleep with it, we're going to wake up with it. How you wake up is how you go to sleep. If you put your head on your pillow at night and you tell yourself, wow, I did the best that I could today. Wasn't a perfect day. There are some things that I still need to take care of, and you wrote them down somewhere that I have to make this call, I got to take care of that, I got to take care of that. And you lie down and you say, wow, and if you say Krishna Shalamita, and you just say, thank you for another beautiful day. None of us are guaranteed that we're going to wake up tomorrow morning. Sure.
Yeah.
It's a scary thought, but it's reality, correct?
Absolutely.
There are people that die in their sleep. So when we finish our day, we say, wow, another day alive on this planet. And when we wake up in the morning, we say, wow, I reached a personal best. You know what that personal best is?
No.
The most days alive on this planet for you. Every day when you wake up, you have succeeded to accomplish the best that you've ever accomplished, that you never accomplished in the past. The most days alive on this planet. A lot of us take life for granted. And we feel entitled. And we demand. So what we are to wake up with anxiety, that there are some unresolved beliefs that you are struggling with. And one of these beliefs is that you're entitled. Life is a gift, not a right. We don't have a right to be alive. True?
Yeah.
And when we approach life, that we are basically guests here. And we stop demanding things because we're guests. We're only here temporarily. True?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And everything they have, right? Were you ever a guest at somebody's house?
Yes.
Did you complain about the meal to them, or were you grateful whatever they gave you?
I was grateful.
Of course. You're a guest, right? They served you. They prepared a meal for you. How beautiful is that? God prepared a life for you. And you're a guest, and he's serving it to you every day.
Okay, so I'm going to try tonight.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Okay, and I'm going to see where it takes me.
Okay.
And I think at this point it's a habit already too.
Oh, I believe
So
that.
Yeah. Because I always await it. It doesn't happen. I kind of wait for it to happen.
I'm sorry?
I say if it doesn't happen in the morning, I kind of wait for it to happen.
You're causing it to happen. It's what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you've conditioned yourself, that's the only way you know how to live.
I'm saying it became a habit.
Yeah, I understand. It became a habit, means it was learned, correct?
Yeah.
So that means it can be unlearned, correct?
Mm. I'm guessing.
The only
Yeah.
constant thing in life is change. So you can change. Doesn't matter what's been going on for many years. It can change. True? Yes?
Yeah. It's just that I know where to start.
You start tonight. Okay?
Okay. Good.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody texted in, 1-6, I see you. You will come next. Is hormonal moodiness, anger, and depression something that a person could work on, or does it need to be treated medically? Hormonal moodiness. When you say hormonal moodiness, are you talking about pregnancy? Are you talking about female hormonal moodiness, anger and depression? What exactly? It really depends on what you're referring to. There's no question that hormonal moodiness in general is something that a person can work on, absolutely. But it depends what that source is. And again, I don't know if you've taken blood work to find out what your serotonin levels are, what your cortisol levels are, the different hormones in your body, and finding out if they are something that gets peaked at certain times, or like I said, if you're pregnant or you're going through menopause, that's something else. Yes, medication can help, but that doesn't mean that's the only answer. There's no question that even hormonal moodiness can be dealt with. A lot of times, people use it as an excuse. Oh, it's my hormones, when it's not necessarily so. You really have to be honest with yourself. So it can go either way. Doesn't have to be with medication, but it could be that you do need medication depending on what it is, or it is something that you can just work on. So I can't give a clear-cut answer unless you got into blood work and found out what your different hormonal levels are with the thyroid, and it could be dehydration. There's a lot of things that affect our mood. So even with all that, there's no question that doing this work, whatever it is that you are going through, it can be helped. So I hope that answers your question. 1-6, you had unmuted. Yes. Hello.
Hi. I have a question, and it's a question on something similar to what the caller before asked. So I have sometimes for weeks on end where I have a hard time falling asleep, and then like these mornings, I wake up very early, like tops 6 hours after I went to sleep, and I wake up and I feel rested, and it's like very early, it's 5 o'clock, 4:30, and I can't fall back asleep, and I just come out and do stuff, and then like midday I'm like zonked because I'm up for so many hours, and saying that if you wake up the same way you go to sleep, so yeah, so those nights I am having a hard time falling asleep, so I'm waking up. I guess I'm nervous. I wake up nervous. What type of things are called loose ends?
Loose ends is something that is unresolved. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Okay, let's say you had an argument with a friend of yours, right? And you didn't resolve it yet. Or let's say you did something wrong, you said something wrong to somebody, right? And you feel bad about it, but you haven't called them and apologized. Those are loose ends. Let's say you gave yourself a bunch of tasks to do and you didn't complete them. Those are loose ends. Anything that is unresolved at the end of your day is considered a loose end. There are different levels of loose ends. Like we talked about before Pesach, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. You can't be expected to complete everything at once. However, if you have a certain plan, it's not going to end up as a loose end. So it's really up to you to determine what those loose ends, it's unresolved things. However, at the end of the day, if you say, you know what, I still didn't apologize to this person, I'm not ready yet to do it. I have it down, something to do. I just haven't gone to it because I'm not ready. That's not a loose end. You've addressed it, and that's where you're up to today. You understand what I'm saying? But there's stuff that you haven't admitted to yourself or you haven't resolved in your heart. That's going to be your loose end, and that's going to cause anxiety.
Most of the time, it's like I'm in bed for 3 hours, and I'm like, what's bothering me? And I'm like, I don't know. And then 3-4 hours into the night, I'm like, oh, I know. It takes me so long to figure out.
Can sometimes. It's possible. But as you become more aware of your daily life, it's going to be less time when you're lying down to resolve this. It's not like a one-time process. It's something that we do on a daily basis. And like the other person said, she thinks it's a habit. Yes. And there's obviously many times some deeper things that you want to be anxious because it's a distraction. Those are deeper beliefs that go on. So a lot of times we're just not honest with ourselves. And there's a lot of stuff going on. That's like I said, you can't kiss your own ear. You can't do this work on your own. This is the work that have to do in order to get to that. And it doesn't always come up right away. I had an issue of an experience of 22 years ago, and I didn't know what the lesson was from that. It was a big mistake on my part. It cost me a lot of money, cost me a lot of stress and despair. And I realized that I was wrong and I made a mistake. And I said, okay, what's the lesson? I don't know. This doesn't seem like a lesson. And I actually became aware of it 3 weeks ago. 22 years. And every so often, I didn't think about it every day, but every so often it came up to me. I said, I wonder what that was supposed to be for. What was I supposed to learn there? It doesn't make sense. It wasn't fair. It shouldn't have happened, or whatever the stuff that I told myself. And 22 years later, I got my answer. So the answers don't always come right away. But if you keep doing the work and you're patient with that, your answers will come of what you need. I clearly didn't need that answer in the past 22 years because I've grown, I've healed in a lot of areas. I'm doing a lot better than I was back then. So for whatever reason, it wasn't important for me to know the answer then. For whatever, it was important for me to know the answer now. You
Okay.
never know. You never know. The subconscious is a powerful part of our brain. And if you
Yeah.
learn how to work with it, it will guide you. It will take care of you. Guaranteed.
Sometimes as you heal, let's say it's like a theme, like it's not like one thing, it's like a theme, and you heal multiple things within this theme, so it takes a long time.
It can, absolutely. It's not always one thing. You're correct. There's no rhyme or reason with a lot of this that goes on. Not logical. Not a logical process, and yet we try to comprehend it, to understand it, to take care of it through our logic. But it's not a logical process. If it was logical, we wouldn't need each other in order to heal, but it's not.
Right.
We would just
Right.
use our logic, but our logic gets in the way many times.
So like whenever I have this thing, even if I know that it's something I need to do, if it's not something I could still do today, I could just say, I'm aware that this is something I'm going to be tackling at some point.
Yeah, you can say, I'm just not ready to tackle it, and you can write it down, and you can have a book of things that you want to do, and you put it there, and it's written down, finished. It's usually better to write this stuff down instead of leaving it in your head. So in order to avoid loose ends, it's better to write it down. So then you have it there.
Okay, I guess that's going to be new because I like remembering because then I have it and then I don't have to find the paper.
No, not a good thing. That'll never work long term. That'll cause
Okay.
that anxiety and that inability to sleep.
Okay, so I'm going to try to do that. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Anybody else before we go? Anybody have a question or a comment? Once again, if you have a relative or friend or somebody who you believe can benefit from what we do here, from our program, you can give them our number and we will reach out to them. We'd be more than happy to, and to discuss with them. And if you refer somebody to us, then even if you're not a member of the program, we do pay for our referrals. We will give you something. We'll definitely be able to help you out with that. 04, you asked before, am I correct? You just unmuted?
Yeah. I said I didn't ask. I said a comment.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay that I ask?
Go ahead.
So I want to know, like, how is it that I had a lot of anxiety, and then I was much better, and why does it come like back all of a sudden, and then I feel again so lost?
I don't understand.
Meaning to say, if I know already, like, how to handle, not that I know, but I'm handling my anxiety, and then it's much better. It's almost like whatever, and then it comes back, and it's overwhelming again. Like, why does it happen?
Why does it happen? It sounds like there's some unresolved healing that hasn't been taken care of.
And what can I do about it?
That's what our program does. It's not something that it's work. It needs to be addressed and
That's
handled.
why it's not like what something
There's
that
there's no quick answer to that. It's a process.
I am taking care of it. It's bothering me. I don't like it.
I understand that. It's something that takes work. It's addressing. It takes time and it takes constant. And the stuff that's not resolved yet, it needs constant work. It's not a one-time answer. Oh, just do this and fine. It's not like that. People that go to the gym. They work out for years before they feel comfortable in the gym. It's the same thing. You're training a new muscle in your brain. It takes time and it takes work. And it can't be one day I do it, one day I don't do it. No, it's consistent work. I've been in recovery for 24 years. I still do it every day, every day.
Right.
And stuff comes back, absolutely. You never
It's
eradicate
so
the mental-
annoying. You feel like
sorry?
you're so much better. I'm saying it's so annoying. Like you feel like you've been there, you've done that, and here it comes again.
I agree with you. It can be annoying sometimes. I agree. But that's the subconscious. We're not in management. Why these things happen, there's no real rhyme or reason for it. However, we breathe every day. We can't rely on what we ate last week for today. We can't take a shower on Sunday and take 7 showers on Sunday for the week. We got to take a shower every day. Same thing with recovery work. It takes work on a daily basis.
Yeah.
People who started and then they stop, it's very difficult. It's like a plane. When a plane takes off, the most fuel that the plane uses is when it takes off. But once it's in the air, it doesn't need as much fuel. But if it stops, if it turns the engine off, it's going to go down again, and then it's got to start all over again. So it's the same thing. And maybe you thought that you were finished with this, but clearly you're not. So it needs more work. And yes, I agree with you. It can be annoying sometimes. You are correct. It can be.
Right, and I still do every day I do the bed in the morning and
Beautiful.
whatever.
Good. This
Yeah.
isn't work that you can do on your own. This is work that's got to be done with other people.
Yeah, I have someone that's doing this with me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Anybody else have a question or a comment before we go?
Can you,
Okay,
can
Ann,
you give the
yes?
number, please?
I'm sorry?
Can you give us the phone number again, please?
845
Yep,
400
okay,
9466.
okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
You're welcome. Again, 845 400 9466. Let me just put it into the chat. Hello?
Ik snap me dan wel zoeken de roerstof. Niet gezakt te worden. Ik zeg als het dat 2 kastjes.
I'm having a hard time understanding you.
Ja.
Hello? Did you have a question, sir? Somebody says ABC iPhone. Are you asking a question? ABC iPhone?
I'd like to know if somebody starts medication and they stop, they take 1 day, yeah, 2 days not, and then again, what's the side effect of that?
It depends what that medication is. Are you talking about an antipsychotic medication? You're talking about an anti-anxiety medication, antidepressant?
Antidepressant,
So an antidepressant medication really depends. Are you talking about Zoloft? You're talking about an SSRI? Prozac?
Prozac, yeah,
And what is the dosage?
40 milligrams a day.
So you're taking 40 milligrams and you don't take it consistently?
He took it consistently for 6 weeks, and then he stopped for a week, and then I warned him that he has to take it, so he started again. So my question is the
Well,
6 weeks that he
Prozac-
took it, is it garbage? It didn't, or what could happen?
An antidepressant takes 6 to 8 weeks until it actually has an effect to start with. Anyways, so somebody takes it for 6 weeks and stops. It's going to take a little bit longer to get back to that therapeutic level of what that first 6 weeks was, but it's not a waste. If they take it within a couple of days, not so bad. Within a week, I don't think it totally, I'm not 100% sure. I'm a nurse, not a doctor. It really depends on the person, but usually it takes 6 to 8 weeks. But anything that you deal with Prozac or any other antidepressant, you really need to work with under the care of a physician and not take it into your own hands and make decisions in your own hands. And if he has a doctor who prescribed him the medication, then you should call that doctor and say, this person took it for 6 weeks, he stopped for a week, what should we do now? Instead of just starting and stopping, because that can have major negative effects on the person.
Like what?
It's not just symptomatic, not just symptoms that it's going to have, but it can really mess up their hormonal aspects. It's not something that you want to play with. And it can be dangerous. However, if it's done with a physician's guidance, usually when people go off antidepressants, they titrate them down. So if they're taking 40 milligrams, they'll go down to 30 milligrams and to 20 milligrams, and maybe they'll take 20 milligrams every other day and so on and so forth. It's not something that is advisable to start and then to totally stop. You can get a lot of headaches, you can get nausea, you can get anxiety from it. Not a great combination to play
Around,
with.
I know that.
So
So if he started taking again, he should just continue.
Again, I would, yes, but you should definitely get in touch with your physician regardless. Yeah.
Let me ask you another thing. Did you ever have patients that were on antidepressant and then they could get off it?
100%. With my program, yes, 100%.
What is
I've
the
had
main
people
thing
that,
of your program?
I'm sorry,
What do you heal mostly from your program? What type of issues?
we have all different types. Our program started with people who had eating disorders, overeating, and then it evolved and we went into trauma healing. People with social anxiety, insomnia, chronic fatigue, psychosomatic symptoms, different chronic anxiety, fear, phobias, fear of flying, PTSD, and so on and so forth. And we've healed all those. The thing is like this, that how old is this person that you're referring to?
He's 24.
And he lives with you at home?
No, he's married.
He's married. Okay. So he was diagnosed how long ago?
He was diagnosed 2 years.
After he already left the home?
Yes, when he got engaged, he somehow came out in anxiety, and we did all sorts of, we didn't know first because he was always very regular kid, really like a good kid.
Everybody's good kids.
Yeah, but he got terrible fears of getting married. It started with getting married, and
So I would suspect that if marriage triggered that anxiety, then the parents need healing as well.
it wasn't the marriage that triggered it.
I didn't say that. I'm saying the stressful situation of it's very common between the ages of 15 and 30 for these symptoms to appear. But if these symptoms appear in somebody, except for psychosis, which is something different, it's not psychosis, it is also the home that person came from that needs to be healed. Because that child has not learned how to deal with stress.
But his house wasn't stressful. We were great parents.
I didn't say not. I'm being totally honest. I get these calls all the time. And I'm telling you from personal experience, and I've seen it many times, and parents don't like to hear that. And I understand it. But that is my experience. Now, he's already not living at home. However, the support from the parents has to come from a healthy place. And if the parents have not addressed whatever issues they have, it's going to make it that much more difficult to support an unhealthy child, even though they're married.
So what is your program? How long does it take to teach your program?
We start off with an 8-week program, and we take you through 5 shifts of healing.
1 minute. My husband's going to give you a pointer. 1 minute.
Yes, hi. Sorry to interrupt. But
Du bist doch ein Heilig von der ganzen Meise. It's ganz fine.
thanks Hashem, we have a great marriage. The thing is about Yochid, he has no siblings. So he didn't have any stress and any way to deal with stress in his life.
1 minute. So he's a Ben Yochid. That alone in our communities has to be stressful for your family.
What do you mean for family? For him?
No. For you and your wife.
No, he got stressed before, but we had the problems before he was born. But afterwards, we're very happy.
I understand. It is to live in a community where the average family has 10 to 12 kids.
Not exactly.
8 kids, 6 kids, 5
Okay.
kids, whatever it is.
Right.
And to only have a Ben Yochid is definitely stressful for that family. And to say that it's not would just be an unrealistic.
I could say, because
I'm not saying
we
that
had so
you
much
didn't
pressure
do.
before, we were not so young, and we made peace with it.
I'm not trying
and
to.
they didn't disturb us or make us
I'm
pressure or
not-
stress.
I'm not trying
That was-
to. I'm not trying to chas v'sholom judge you.
No, it's a matter of
But-
fact, right? It's like
If somebody goes through trauma, because that's traumatic, and I'm not saying that you have not healed, but if your son at 24 is going through this, that means that he did not learn, or he learned a way to deal with stressful situations that are causing him stress. And unless people are aware of it, they don't know this is happening. This is through the subconscious. It's not conscious. It's not on a conscious level. And if he's already on an antidepressant, and if you don't want to believe me, you can look at the last Amud in Gemara and Sukkos. You can look there if you want.
last moment. What's
Yes.
the later?
It says that a child doesn't say anything on the street that they didn't learn at home.
Okay.
Everything we learn in our home.
Okay, and if he doesn't say nothing?
I don't mean actually saying things.
No, he was like quiet, more to the quiet side as
Well,
a teenager.
whatever it is, I'm just telling you, I'm sure he's a wonderful person, and I'm sure you are wonderful parents. It's not a testimony to your lack of parenting or bad people. That's not what this is. This is very normal. I've been doing this for 15 years. And every single person that comes into my emergency room that I work in, the psychiatric emergency room, that the parents are outside, there is something there that the parents need healing. It's normal. This part of, so for whatever reason you've gone through that trauma, it's going to have an effect on your child.
Okay,
And-
actually, does it make a difference now for him if we needed help 20 years ago or something?
Oh,
Does it
it'll
matter now
definitely-
on him?
it's never too late. As long as you're breathing, because he needs probably more support now as an adult than he needed as a child in many ways.
Yes,
And
so it's my question.
unless,
Is it the matter for us now that you say that we needed, I don't know what, and we didn't have it or something? We were lacking,
no,
what
healing.
I say, we're lacking healing. So it doesn't make a difference now for him.
Oh, it definitely does.
Okay, so why? How, man? Ask him how.
I'll explain to you. So first of all, you're still connected to your son, even though he's married. True?
Actually, I'm connected. It's like I'm worried. He's worried because he can't get out of it. He can't do nothing. I have to take care of him. Actually, he's not
He's
himself.
still, so you still have a connection with him, even though he moved out of the house.
For sure, it's an instinct, right?
It's part of life. So if you don't heal the source of why he's having a struggle, he still subconsciously is connected to that scary thing or that fear, whatever it was that was not nurtured appropriately. He is still being affected today. Not that he knows about it, not that you are aware of it. So it definitely has an effect, even after they leave their home, they leave the home. No question about it. If you have a child who is ill, it affects the entire family, whether they are home or they already left the home. And in order to help that child heal, the parents need healing too, because he needs to go back at this stage to get that guidance. And if he doesn't, it's going to make it that much more difficult for him.
Again, the parents have to be healed more in order that the child should be healed.
It's all connected, absolutely. Even after they leave the home. Yes.
So you mean to say we need more confidence? Or like, what I mean, healing now?
It's not about confidence. It's a different perspective on your life.
For instance, for example, what could it be? I don't think I lack something about an anxiety, something about confidence. Yes, and if something when my son was Houston and we were worried how our marriage will connect.
So
we were worried.
Right.
Thanks Hashem, he almost married 3 years, and Hashem.
So you were worried. So you were worried before he got married. True.
Yeah, because actually it all came out the day he got a Houston.
Nochamo. So you were worried before he got married, yes?
Yes.
You passed on that worry to him, unbeknownst to you, and that
he
was
passed the worry on me. It's opposite. Because I saw him in his Nemtzov, I saw him in his state. That's why I
understand. How, if you don't know how to deal with somebody, a child who's worried, how do you deal with it? What do you answer somebody who comes to you who's worried?
We took training with the therapist, but he didn't connect. And we spoke.
He went to therapist.
Yeah, we were also there at the beginning. They told us how to deal with him.
Okay.
And times he was better, times he was worse.
I understand.
At a stage, he took medication and it was very good. Actually, he was too loud, too this. Then he has downs. But now we started going, went to the doctor and everything. But he doesn't believe. He does. They tell me he's so smart. Like, he always smarts the system. He doesn't believe the pills will help because he thinks his brain is damaged. So he says, wow, this, what, that. He went to different kind of therapists.
So when
pick up the hand,
it's
not this, not that. So he went, his brain tells him, my brain is damaged. Finished. I'm like a 7-year-old child. No brains. I forget everything. I can't do nothing. So he's always busy with this fear.
I hear. So how do you respond to that?
We went to a lot of therapy.
No, I'm saying, how do you respond to it? Not the therapist.
I wasn't angry because I have a rabbis.
I didn't say you were angry. I asked you. When your son comes to you and he's coming,
I calm him down. I tell him it'll be good. Just relax, and you got to work on it. We got to take medication. We'll go to therapies. It's fine. It's just a thought in yourself. But in technicality, you're smart. He was smart. You could do everything. You have your wife. So when he is with his wife, he's good. We can see it a lot of times. He eats with me, he sleeps. Then he's happy, smiling with her, and then everything. He forgets about everything.
Well,
And
listen, it sounds like you have a lot of good intentions, and you're very good as a parent, and you understand your son. But I'm telling you, there is no comparison to the parents getting healing when they have a sick child.
again, so when you say healing, what do you mean by healing? What do healing mean? What's
So when a child comes to you, I'm no good, I'm terrible about myself, I'm damaged.
I'm nothing. I'm damaged. I don't know
Right.
where I live. Crazy
Right.
things. So I need to learn myself how to deal with it. Especially
Again, it is natural for a parent to be afraid and not know what to say to such a person. However, when a person learns how to deal with their own feels and their own negative thoughts that they have themselves and heal that, they will be able to answer and to validate those feelings. This child is coming to you with fear. Yes?
yes,
That fear needs to be validated,
100%.
not dismissed. No, you're really good. He's telling you that he's not good.
And he really feels it's not good, and so he's
I
not good.
understand that. So he needs to be validated.
So we went to therapy with him. It took a lot of tape, but then he says he doesn't connect there. He says the therapy doesn't talk to the Zach. The therapy doesn't understand. My brain is damaged.
Therapy in right. Therapy in general is like a shidduch. You got to find the one that works for
right. So
you.
we spoke to the therapist a lot. He says yes, he could work on his brain, everything, but he thinks he needs a medication to help him change. So now he didn't want to take medication because he says
Well,
medication because his brain is damaged. He says he has a damaged brain. He says he was always damaged. But so, look, you're
I
not. You're a
understand.
good child. You
Right.
made the test. You know the Gemara.
Understand. It's not right.
The great kids in yeshiva. So, but he has still this thing in him.
It's not a chasson in intelligence.
Okay,
This person has some delusional belief, but I'm telling you that.
So now my wife
for
called you
parents-
because we got him to went to a big doctor, we got him to take medication. It took a while till, okay, he started medication. And now somehow she got it out from him that he stopped it around the week or something. Why he stopped it? Why?
Do you know why they
Because it
stopped
doesn't
it?
help me anyways. Why should I take it?
Do you
Because it
know
doesn't
why
help
they
me.
stop? Do you know why they stop it?
Yes, because he really thinks it's not about medication, and then there's a side effect.
No.
He doesn't want to, his wife doesn't know exactly, a little bit. But actually, his wife tells him, you're so normal, you're so good, you're so smart. Why do you think these things?
Do you know why? Do you know why they stopped the medication?
I take out from him what he tells me, what I see from him.
No.
It's on the bad side, meaning to say it doesn't help him because his brain is damaged. So why should he take it?
No. That's not why depressed people stop taking medication.
So what's the reason?
The reason why people who have either psychosis or they're depressed and they've conditioned themselves that the way to live and they don't want to give that up is one reason. Another reason is the medications have side effects that are worse or similar to the side effects that they feel with their depression. Another thing is the shame of the feeling that there's something wrong with them, that they need to take medication, and they haven't grieved the fact that they have an ailment that needs treatment. It's like a diabetic who doesn't want to admit that they have diabetes, so they're not going to take diabetic medications because they don't believe they're diabetic. Once they become conditioned with this, so they don't want to admit, they don't want to get to accept the fact that they need medication in order to continue. So they will try to live without it.
But he
The
complains all the
stigma.
time. He can't. He complains like he's miserable and he doesn't do nothing the whole day. So I'm asking him,
Okay.
okay, so what do you want? Tell me what you want. You don't want to take medication and you're miserable. You could be so normal, you're so grateful. You're such a good life, such a good wife and everything. And so what do you
I
want?
hear you.
What do you want to do?
I hear
So
you.
then he says he wants to be healthy. He wants to be healthy. So he wants to go to the Bunam
Exactly.
to Besekuras and to Betamchaim. So okay, well, one time, yeah. And so he doesn't have a solution.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult for, especially at the beginning, for people who are taking medications, and there is this stigma that they feel, there's this shame that there's something wrong with them, and what are other people going to think? And it is a challenge. I'm not saying that it's not, and I really can empathize with you and really validate your struggle that, that you have a sick child. And it clearly was not the first trauma that you've gone through about till you had children. So you've gone through a lot, which is understandable, that you've gone through this, and I really validate that. And I want you to know that it is a struggle, but it does need healing. The fact that you've gone through this, a lot of this is passed on to your child, and your child himself is going through a hard time. And it's very difficult for people who go through this when they don't want the medication. And they call it the revolving door syndrome, where they take medication for a little while, then they stop, and they keep trying to live life without it. With the appropriate healing, they get to a place where they really accept the fact. That's the hope, that they get to a point where they accept the fact. And for parents who have a sick child, there's definitely a grieving process that needs to be gone through. And
Yeah, but actually, he drags him down even more than so. It's not like he complains, I don't need it because I'm good. He says it doesn't help me. I'm much worse than medication.
I understand that. I've been hearing that for 15 years. I know. I hear it. I hear all the reasons. We hear it all the time in the hospital. We do. It's
How
very
could it be
stressful.
when it's with his wife, and the wife, he can be talk to me or be by me and complain, and when wife picks up his phone, he's like normal. He smiles and he listens,
Yeah.
and
I'm sure.
or when he's with his wife, but even by us, he's like regular, happy, smiling, and then schmoozing and then walking.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes the best response is no response. And sometimes the parents are enabling the child. I'm telling you that there are different aspects of what parents struggle with, and it's not a easy solution. It's not a straightforward solution. But I'm telling you, if you have a child who's gone through this, now if you're doing your own thing and you're zufrieden,
I'm not because it drags so long, and for me as a person, as I asked the people who deal with it, they said it could take long, but it should not take so long. Like, he's a smart child, so he started taking medication last year, 2 years ago. Then he stopped it. Then it was better. Then he fell back, and now he doesn't want to take. It took 6 weeks, and he stopped it. So,
very common.
So I'm not succeeding because wherever therapist I went, I have a whole list in Barpak and the Flatbush, and it didn't connect because he always comes back. Tell me this, I'm crazy. I know my brain is damaged. He smarts over. Every therapist works like starts the slow beginning of things like where were you born, how does it take, like that. So he came back. What does he want from me? What is the difference of when I'm born and what I did? Like, he's always smart for them. Then they think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, but the brain is damaged. So that's one of the reasons. And really, a few therapists did not connect. But a few therapists had good therapists. But if it doesn't want a couple, it's no point. The therapist told me he has to be more easygoing, like, and he was very obnoxious, very actiondic. He was not like this before. He was a very good child, a good nature, and he got like opposite, very obnoxious things.
Like I said, between 15 and 25 is a common age when these things come out. And there's certain life stressors that he's going through. These are the people that come to our program. These are people that we work with. But like I said, if there's a child who comes to us, even though they're not living at home, it is extremely beneficial that the parents also get that healing. And it is a struggle. I agree with you. You're fighting a difficult battle. It is difficult and it's stressful. It really is. And it does take time. They're right. It does take time. And you just got to keep seeking. That's all I can tell you. If you want to talk to us more in the office and we can talk
Yeah,
more.
but I can't even tell him like start go to your program because he won't go. Same thing.
Well,
What is so many doctors that doesn't help? It doesn't help. The brain's damaged. He has this thing.
No, if he's not ready to go, I wasn't talking about him. I was talking starting with you and your wife. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, but what do we have to go healing? So actually, I can understand what he's saying. We need more advice. Let's put it this way: advice, or you can call it teaching, how we should talk to him, connect to him. This I understand. It doesn't have nothing to do with my trauma. It's like I have a problem now, and in order to get about it, I have to know how to deal with it. So I understand that. But
you're trying to answer this logically.
Okay, and it doesn't work.
No. It's not a logical answer because it's not a logical problem. And I empathize with you. I really do. I deal with these types of people all the time and I understand it. And it's difficult. I'm not going to minimize it or rationalize it. It's work, but I can promise you that if you and your wife or you might decide to do this type of healing, I guarantee you that you would be able to have a much smoother time working with your son.
Means happy healing.
Because he will see a difference. He will see a change in you. It will have a impact on him. What
means happy healing? Sorry, then I wasn't in for.
That's what we do. You've been through some trauma, and I hear some denial in that. I hear some minimizing in that. And
no, I don't deny we had trauma before he was born. I don't deny that.
I didn't say that. There's trauma gone through the whole upbringing that has not been addressed appropriately. I can hear it from the way you're talking. Not that you're a bad person, Chas v'shalom. And I'm being honest with you. I hope you don't mind me being honest with you when you ask the question.
No, it's no problem.
So there is, yeah. So I'm telling you that there is a certain level of denial in what you're talking about or what you've gone through, not thinking that it needs some nurturing and healing. And it hasn't happened yet. And
I don't think
I'm not saying that's the cure-it-all and answer to everything. However, without it, it's just making it more difficult. That's what I'm saying. And with it, and it's hard to imagine what that is without actually going through it.
And what is your program? Sessions?
It's pre-recorded sessions. It's Q&A. It's weekly Q&A sessions that we have for a week with different coaches in groups. And it's all with pre-recorded sessions and workbooks that all come with the program. And it starts off as an 8-week program. And like I said, we're having a sale right now. So for that program, it's $200 off if you sign up before Yom Tov. And if you don't want to start till after Yom Tov, understandable. That's okay. You'll still get that discount if you sign up before. You can reach out to the office. The number is in the chat. And we'll be more than happy to discuss it further with you. I don't know if your wife needs one-to-one. We try not to do that because you have the Q&A where we answer like we're doing here now. That takes place 4 times a week, comes with on average. And it's
4
a
times
process.
a week, 8 weeks. And how long is every session? Like 4 times, how long? 1 hour?
So the Q&As last for 2 hours. You don't have to be there every time. but they are available for 2 hours. Some people come in the middle, some people come at the beginning, and then they have to go. People like to stay because they like hearing the answers that we answer to other people because they learn so much from it.
It's on Zoom, you say?
All on Zoom. Everything's on Zoom, yeah.
That's one price for both parents, or one parent can go?
That you speak to the office, yeah, they can work out with you. They'll work out with the, yeah.
Okay. Now, how much the whole, can I ask you how much it is, or not now?
No, that's fine. Our normal price is $14.97 for the 8 weeks, but we're giving a sale with $200 off, plus you'll get an extra week. So you're actually going to get 9 weeks instead of 8 weeks for now. And even if you don't start now, it's fine. You can sign up now and you'll still get the discount and get the extra week when you do actually start, as long as you sign up before you.
I'll think about it. Also the timing.
That's why I said you can start after Yom Tov as long as you sign up before.
Thank you.
And
I
the
want to
phone
thank you
numbers.
for the
I'm sorry?
time. My wife wants to thank you for the time.
My
And me
pleasure.
too. I want to thank you for your time. That's actually very nice of you, even though, if you want to have business or not, it's still very nice for this hour to give away. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. And this is what we do. We help people. And nobody comes to us happy. Everybody who comes to us is going through something. So that's what we do. And it's not therapy. It's a retraining of the subconscious. It's a healing process. Very different. And then if, I don't know, if either of you have an eating disorder, weight issue, then we can start you on that program instead.
No, we don't have eating issues.
Baruch Hashem.
Yes. Thank
You
you.
have to chime in. Good.
Yes.
One less thing to be worried about, Hashem.
And usually, like with the 8-week program, you could get help.
That's for these.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
That's for these, the parents, actually.
Yeah, that's the first stage of the program is 8 weeks. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, maybe I'll call the office.
So I gave you the number there. I think you took it
Yes.
down. And then if you're interested, we'll get back to you and talk to you more in detail. I
Thank
wish you
you.
luck. I really do. It is challenging to have a child with some type of mental illness.
It's very challenging because as we said, he's an only child.
That I'm saying that adds even more. And
But although I could sometimes tell my sister she has 10, and she says it doesn't matter. Every child is a world.
it's nicht
But she,
of course it matters.
I told her, of course she could
Well, we
fix
said
it.
you're living in a community where the average family has a large family, and only to have one is that in of itself is embarrassing and needs
Yeah, but that
work.
we,
Not that nobody has to say anything. It's not like somebody says something to you, but it's inside. And to say that it's not, you're just lying to yourself. When I was overweight, it was very embarrassing, even though I wasn't consciously admitting to it. But walking around 300 pounds is an extremely embarrassing thing. But so any type of thing that we are out of the norm is going to be embarrassing, and even to a level of shame, which is even harder to deal with. And that gets passed down to our children.
Yes, I hear you.
So that's what I was referring to when I was talking to your husband.
I hear you. Okay, thank you. Thanks again for your time.
My pleasure. I want to wish you much hatzlacha. It's definitely a challenge. And
I have a sibling that also has the one, and they were pretty close, and they're just a year apart, and she also only has one, and he's, Baruch Hashem, successful and everything. I'm meaning to say, we're not the only ones having one. It's not.
No, I know, I hear, but still.
Yes, but still, yeah, I understand what you're trying to bring out at your point, which is true by many people. But with that sense, we made peace. We know Hashem rules the world. Hashem gave us one. This was his plan.
When you say that is the level of denial that I'm referring to. It's very subtle. It's a very subtle level. I'm sure you've done tremendous amount of work to grieve that. But
my husband's a big Baal B'tochen, and he reads, and he could sometimes tell me.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Good.
Yes, I'm saying
No, I'm sure you're amazing. You sound like an amazing couple, and I'm sure you've done a tremendous amount of work, but I'm just telling you what I hear, because that's what I do.
I guess
know,
you're the professional, right?
That's my profession and my expertise, and I'm telling you what I hear.
You've
So,
had people go down medications that you know when they're doing well.
Baruch Hashem, yeah, thank God. Not
There is
everybody.
there is some people that I understand they have to be for life, and there are some people that could.
It's yeah, mental illness is
It's
not an
not a
easy
one-time this for anyone, right? Everybody. I
I'm
know.
dealing. Yeah,
I know
there are
many
people.
people with mental illness, and everybody has a different ways and different.
Oh, absolutely. Medications affects everybody differently. Also, one wish you a
Yes, the same
and
to you.
only good things.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That was. We're going to end here. If anybody has any more questions and they didn't get responded, they can always text it into the office. You can listen to the recording, and you can also tell your friends and family. We have it on various platforms, and also the phone numbers in the chat. I do believe if you already signed up for this, you will get notification about that. I want to wish everybody Chassidus Taiva, a good gebench, your only good things for you and your family. And we will not, like I said, I don't believe we're having a Mindful Mondays during the month of Yontif, but we'll try to get back as soon as we can. And once again, tell your friends and family to join us. We're here to help. Have a good night, everybody, and take care.